Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can solve this mighty question on probability that came in the Cambridge ACE and A-level examinations during the May-June 2018 sessions. And this is second question of this paper. And according to the general comments made by the examiner, this was the most challenging question on the paper. So thank you so much, Karan, for submitting this question. And if you are someone, guys, who are having similar difficult questions in your mind, which have appeared in the previous examinations of Cambridge, please find the link of the Google form in the description. Use that form to submit this kind of question to us. So we are going to review it and make this kind of video solutions for the same, giving you the whole credits of submitting the questions. So yes, let's get started without any further ado with this question. So the question states that in a group of students, three-fourths are male. The proportions of these male students who likes their curry hot is 3 by 5, and the proportions of the female students who like their curry hot is 4 by 5. Now, one student is chosen at random, and in the first part, it's given that find the probability that the student chosen is either female or likes their curry hot, or is both female and likes their curry hot. So now it's time to test your knowledge over here. I encourage you guys to pause the video over here if you haven't already given an attempt for this question and come back once you are ready. It could be a correct answer, it could be incorrect answer without any kind of fear. Just give it an attempt. Whatever comes to your brain by reading the question, try to solve it accordingly. And then I'll tell you what were some of the common mistakes that students have made for the first part and then how you can avoid them by showing you my approach to this particular question. So yes, please pause the video over here. So welcome back if you did give it an attempt. And if your answer for this part is zero point 0.7, then many congratulations. You got it correct. But now for the students who did not really get it correct, it's completely fine. I'm about to show you how we can solve this question in the easiest way possible. But before that, let me walk you through some of the comments made by the examiner for this specific part. So they mentioned that most of the candidates could calculate the individual probabilities correctly. That is, because we are trying to find the probability that if we are choosing a student could be a female, or the student could be someone who likes their curry hot, or the student could be a female who likes their curry hot. So the individual probability calculations were done correctly by most of the candidates. But then there were some of the weaker candidates who couldn't really apply the additional rule of the probability correctly, such that if they are going to add the probabilities that they calculated over here, they were getting the final value of the probability that was greater than 1. So if you are someone who is completely satisfied and not really bothered about this thing, then there is something really very wrong with your concept because the probability values can never be greater than 1. And then the students who applied tree diagram or the Venn diagram for this solution were often seen to have more successful answers. And guess what? I am also going to show you how to solve this question using the tree diagram. So yes, with all these things being said, I hope that you were able to understand what were some of the common mistakes done by the students. Now it's time to understand how to solve this question. So the first thing that I have done over here is to create a tree diagram by utilizing the information present over here. I know that a student could be a male or a female, and regardless of that, a student could like their curry to be hot or they cannot like their curry to be hot. And now in the question, because we are trying to find the probability that if we are trying to choose one of the students, what will be the probability that we are choosing a female or we are choosing a student who likes their curry to be hot? It could be a male, it could be a female, but someone who definitely likes their curry to be hot. Or lastly, it's someone who is a female and likes their curry to be hot. So all of the possibilities as asked in the question I have mentioned over here. And now because we have already drawn a tree diagram, it will be very much easier for me to calculate all of these probabilities. But then what next? Well, if you just see over here, because we are using the terminology of or and not and, or means we are trying to add these different possibilities all together. And means we are trying to multiply all of these possibilities happening at the same time. So over here, because they have mentioned or, a weaker candidate over here will simply add all of these probabilities. And then as mentioned in the examiner report, these weaker candidates are going to end up with the answers greater than 1. And that is the biggest catch of this question over here. So how do we solve this question? Now it's really very important that you guys understand that whenever there are two different events or more than two different events as well, if we are trying to add the probabilities, what is the correct formula? The formula is over here I'm going to add the probability of event A and the probability of event B. But that's not all about it. Over here in doing so, I know that there will be an overlapping part that will be added twice. And that is why I'm going to remove one of the overlapping over here. This is a simple concept that we learn whenever we are talking about a mutually exclusive events or non-mutually exclusive events. So if you're not really sure about this concept, I really recommend you to first learn this concept and then try to attempt this question. So over here, we are going to identify that how many times a particular thing is being repeated. I'm going to remove all the kind of repetitions, and in doing so over here, if you look into this, the probability of having a female who likes their curry hot is repeated for 1, 2, and 3 times. Apart from that, nothing else is repeated. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to count it only once, not thrice, and then I'm going to add this thing to it and this thing to it because it's appearing only once. There is no other repetitions. And in doing so, what's going to happen is, I'm going to say that the addition of 1 and 2 over here is simply the probability of a female, which is 1 by 4. That is how I get the 1 by 4 over here. And then I'm just left with this part, which is from the tree diagram, I can say that it's 3 by 4, that is the proportion of the males, and 3 by 5 are the proportions who are male who likes their curry to be hot. The final answer will be ending up with is 0.7. So yes, guys, please pay attention to this kind of little things. Cambridge likes to confuse students by throwing this kind of naughty questions at us. But yes, that was about the first part. I hope you were able to understand this one. And yes, don't forget, in case if you're having any kind of doubts, comment sections are always open. Now it's time to move on to the second part. We have to show our working in order to determine whether the given two events are independent or not independent. The first event is that the student chosen is a male, and the second event is that the student chosen likes their curry to be hot. Now, this question is relatively very simple, but still, pause the video over here and give it an attempt and come back once you are ready. And then I'll show you still what are some of the kind of mistakes you can make over here, and then how you can save yourself by making these kind of mistakes. Pause the video over here and come back once you are ready. So, welcome back, guys, if you did give it an attempt. Now, let me show you what are some of the careless mistakes students tend to lose marks on, even for this kind of easy kind of questions. So the first kind of mistake that students make is that they are going to lack any kind of justification for this kind of questions and just state the calculations without any proper context, because of which you're not going to be awarded full marks over here, my dear friend. The way you answer this kind of question is you need to identify that there are two different events, you need to calculate the respective probabilities, and then explain why these events are independent or not independent by using a particular formula. And the second kind of careless mistakes that students are doing over here is they are just generalizing the formula for the independent event. They are not really mentioning that what is my event A, what is my event B. They just say that event A is equal to something, event B is equal to something without any kind of context, and then just say that the events are not independent. So even in this kind of case, you are not going to be getting full marks. So yes, let me show you what is the correct way to solve this particular question. The first thing you need to write is that for the given events to be independent, this given events means this event and this event. You need to state that the probabilities, or I should say the individual probabilities multiplication, should be equal to the probability of both of these events happening at the same time. And then I'm going to calculate what is the value of probability of M into probability of curry to be hot, get the value over here. And I also find what is the value of the probability of both the events happening together. And then if they are not matching, I'm going to say that hence these events are not independent. If they would have matched perfectly, I would have stated that hence these events are independent. So yes, guys, if you're going to follow this particular approach, you cannot lose any kind of marks over here. So thank you so much, guys, for watching the video so far. And if this video has been helpful to you, please write some good comments about this so that I can be really very happy to see that yes, students are getting benefit from this kind of videos. And then on top of that, if you really want to show me a good support, don't forget to click on that like button and share this kind of videos with your friends so that they also are aware about this kind of things that, yeah, this kind of challenging questions are being posted on this particular YouTube channel. Apart from this, guys, if you are someone who wants to boost your grade, you want to boost your confidence in answering the questions for AS and A level mathematics or physics, please reach out to me on my WhatsApp number. We can have the discussions on the same. So, yes, guys, with these things being said, I'll see you in the next video.